afternoon. It's a rainy Monday here in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome to Unlocked Radio.
Yeah, beautiful is a loose term, but it is still Cleveland, I guess.
Speaking of loose, let's talk more about Cleveland.
Oh, there he did it.
I went there.
Yep.
Trying to figure out. Oh, that's my hair. Okay.
All right.
This weird black thing on the camera is. It's like sticking out. It's my hair.
Yep. It is another Monday here at Unlocked Radio. Another, I think it's April 14th, 2014.
Something like that. 41414.
Ooh, look at that.
Welcome to Palindrome Week.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
What did Dylan say? Your move, Shark Week. Happy Palindrome Week.
Yep.
Happy Palindrome Week is not a palindrome, unfortunately.
Nope.
41414, our date. However,
the
today
irony
is.
The irony of that, though.
Indeed. Luckily, this Palindrome Week does not provide you with Mayan astrology and end of the world scenarios, even though it's 41414.
Yeah, well, that one wasn't really a full palindrome. It was 121212.
Yeah, it's 122112. I thought.
Still not a palindrome.
Oh well. 1221.
You see, it doesn't match.
2.
Doesn't match up. Anyways,
well, maybe it was a 21 something.
Fuck it. Who cares? Maybe we got the calendar mixed up. Maybe it was a palindrome. Yeah. Maybe it's supposed to be.
Or maybe they ran out of room.
Maybe. These are all
just like maybe we ran out of ideas and we're talking about Mayans in April.
Or we're all dead.
Or we're all dead. That's a possibility too.
Well, I did see a thing a couple months ago. You know, it was like, hey, if you died and went to hell, how long would it be before you realized you're not at work?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
who knows?
I have air conditioning in my car and in my work truck. So either way, pretty sure I'd notice it as soon as it got warm.
Oh.
Anyways, so don't forget to check us out at facebook.com/unlockedradio, Twitter, follow us at unlockedradio, youtube.com/user/unlockedradio or some shit like that.
Yeah, I think it's just /unlockedradio now. They made it simple for us.
Oh, good. Glad they.
Yeah, youtube.com/unlockedradio, where you can catch our reruns, everything else that you might have missed. Watch us from start to finish, and watch the decline of video gaming and the decline of us.
Yeah, we have obviously started grasping at straws at this point. Unfortunately, guys, we're both very busy, and the government is fucking us over so hard that we're working extra hours so as not to have any planning time whatsoever.
Yeah, it'll happen. We're trying to go come up with a couple new and interesting ideas, things to talk about, things that we might have missed.
Hold on, we're not done with our plugs.
We're not done with our plugs. The point
if
I'm
you're on the
trying
go,
to make,
tune in radio, download. It's on your smartphones. Just type in Morning Show Central. We'll pop up. You can watch us. Well, listen to us live.
Yes, Morning Show Central on that TuneIn Radio app. If you already are listening to us on that, you can watch us live on the interwebs by going to morningshowcentral.com/watch, where you can see our lovely faces. You can see us acting a fool live, and you can join the chat. You don't even need to sign up for anything, register, anything like that. Just plug in a username and hit enter. Don't even need a password, and you can chat with us live on the
you can chat with other people live because.
Well, yeah, that's right. We are not going to be able to us two are not going to be currently able to see it. The guys behind the scenes who you don't see on camera, they'll be able to see it.
Yeah, and they can yell at me and stuff.
Right. But if you want to talk to us directly, you can also just call into the show and talk to us live, hear your own voice on the air at 888-668-0742. That's 888-668-0742 to talk to us here. Also remember to stay tuned after our show to watch everything to watch High on Sports and then everything in between here on Morning Show Central. Go to MSCRadioNetwork.com to check out all the other shows. And so if you got other interests in your life besides just gaming, if you like sports, if you like music, if you like all the other different stuff that they have, controversial discussion, they pretty much got it all.
Also, don't forget to check out our new show, Weightlifting with Chip. I'm gonna start with my 20-ounce curls here.
The show is still in beta at this point.
Yeah, working on that one. I might actually come up with a workout routine and make a YouTube series out of it. If I do, I'll make sure to broadcast something about it on the air, post it on our Facebook and shit. You guys can watch me, get naked and work out. By get naked, I don't mean get naked. I mean just wear a t-shirt and shorts because I
go with the old Richard Simmons routine.
Kind of self-conscious about myself.
Spandex tank top.
Yeah, I can't do spandex. I'm self-conscious.
Yeah, well,
I'm kind of actually feeling a little.
But he can go shirtless into some short shorts.
I am exposed on this show because I'm not wearing a hoodie, and I'm punching my microphone.
Picture him like a whiter, hairier Liam Lett jumping off his couch in short shorts.
I don't think I've ever done that.
Well, it's about time.
I've taken my pants off in your apartment multiple times.
Oh, Jesus.
Sometimes you weren't even there.
Well, here on Locked Radio, I like to kind of go off the wall here. Now, for our last couple of shows here, since our contract is going to be fulfilled here in the near future, we want to provide you with some of the things that we've discussed throughout this last year, some of the things that we've talked about, but never actually brought into the shows. Lots of different things that we've had, a couple of different internet shows and other gaming shows and things like that we've watched. And gotten a lot of good ideas from things that we wanted. We didn't quite put into full-fledged episodes, but we had like little bits and snippets and discussions that we wanted to talk about.
AKA Rio finally watched Game Theory and got addicted.
That's one of them. Chip also has another one that he watches, Sonic for Hire, which he'll be able to talk a lot about. Has like a lot of pretty good comical takes on what was like the old cartoons and different things, and just the decline of Sonic in general, and what the hell did he do after Sonic 6, that awful game.
Yeah. Once Dreamcast went under, they actually made a joke about that on Sonic for Hire, but I'll explain that later. Anyways.
we have that, and we kind of want to talk about, gaming and where it's been going in general, because it has been going. A lot of people think that it has been going downhill. A lot of people think that it, certain things that you got into, just cardboard cutouts, everything else.
I blame Obamacare.
Yeah, blame Obamacare for that one.
Yep.
I don't know. Everything's based on due to lack of innovation. So
first, also, let's blame Canada, because if it wasn't for their damn economy and
working out all right,
working well, we wouldn't have tried to add this fucking free healthcare bullshit.
We got jealous, America. We got jealous.
You mad, bro?
We mad.
Yeah,
any of us having to work for a living and having to try to be forced into healthcare, we all mad.
Define a living, because I don't think I'm quite there yet.
Yeah, we're working toward a living.
Working toward a living.
Yeah.
I'm making like an 80% investment on a living. So I'm 80%.
It's slow going. It's like if you're doing it right, you're making a slow but steady incline towards your future, like a 1 degree incline at best. But
unfortunately, the taxation and inflation of the economy has gone up 1.3%. So good luck not fucking yourself over.
So if you're eating mac and cheese and ramen noodles, then you're probably still working at it.
Wait,
you're probably still working at it.
Wait, you can afford name brand noodles?
Right. Not Maruchan things and the Top Ramen, and
I don't even know what my shit says. I buy it from the Chinese market.
The blank styrofoam cup.
Yeah, it's a cup, and it just has noodles in it, and
when you put it in the microwave, it melts.
Yeah,
I don't think you're supposed to microwave them.
What the?
Too bad. When we just spend 5 minutes on the fucking stovetop.
Actually, at one of my jobs, we have a hot water cooler thing.
Oh, well, you can use that, I guess, if you're fancy. But some of us who are still working our ass off for a living.
Right, hey, this is at work. I don't know how the company afforded it, but I can push a button and get cold water or hot water. I like the hot water one because I can make tea and coffee and stuff.
We've officially lost it here on Unlocked Radio.
We had it? What is it? What are you talking about? I'm confused.
There is a band that addressed this question once. What is it? It's it, apparently.
Oh.
I don't know what is it.
Who let the dogs out?
I know that you want it all, but you can't have it, and that is true.
What is love, baby? Don't hurt me.
No, they're still gonna hurt you. If you know anything about love, they're gonna hurt you.
Yeah, if it doesn't hurt, it's not real.
All right, so one of the things that I talk about is something that one of our friends posted. So we have a couple of friends who work for gaming companies and things, and they have this little bit of a hype going on for a new Smash Brothers that's coming out. One of the best-selling games that Nintendo has ever really put out.
And I believe this will actually be the first time that a new Smash Brothers is released on the same gen system.
Yeah, well, technically, because it's being released for the Wii U and
Yes.
for the 3DS, not necessarily the Wii specifically.
Well, no, we had one for 64.
Yes,
One for GameCube,
and then
one for Wii.
the Wii.
And then didn't they have a fourth one that came out with like the
No, those are all modded things.
well, no, like the Wii trainer and shit. Like what We did that like
Right, that's the one that's now coming out.
seriously. They haven't put that out yet.
And yeah, that's the one that's just now coming out for the Wii U and the 3DS cross-platform. Well, cross-platform through Nintendo. Yeah, so now we're gonna be playing portable Smash Brothers, a portable fighting game, which never usually works out very well.
Yeah,
Not to mention
we'll
it's
see.
coming out for the Wii U, which I don't. The 3DS, of course, we've already discussed, is doing very well on its own.
Yes.
As far as portable gaming is concerned, even though you have smartphones and everything else, some 3DS is still managing to stay ahead of the game. DS, 3DS, the 2DS, all the stupid things that they come out with. But then we go over to the Wii U, which is basically the new Virtual Boy.
Yep.
And that thing sold. It sold less than the PS4 sold more copies in 3 months than the Wii U sold in a year.
Yeah.
So that's already a bad start.
Yep.
Not to mention the 3.5 hour battery life. Not good.
Well, I'm just saying, if they had already released this Smash Brothers, which they've apparently had all the shit together and introduced for almost a year now, maybe they would have sold more.
Right. It was one of the first things we talked about when we started the show.
Yeah.
Around last year's E3. Now, coming around a year later, it's finally actually happening. It's going to be released here the next month or so. I think it's actually pretty damn soon. But I've unfortunately kind of lost interest in it. One, because it's portable.
I completely forgot that it was fucking happening, and I thought it already did happen. And I was actually, when I saw a post on it the other day, I was actually going to ask someone, like, hey, how is it? Or how was the last one? Everyone's like, what? I never posted it, so I don't know. Apparently that one hasn't come out yet, and that kind of upsets me. Good job, Nintendo. You fucking pissed me off. There goes your shot at me buying a Wii U.
Yeah. Well, you didn't have much of it. They didn't have much of a shot in the first place.
Well, actually, I bought a Wii for Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's a thing that happens a lot. But it is a console. It is a console pusher. But this is now it's the Wii U, and you could also just get it for the 3DS, which more people have anyway.
Yep.
So what's the point of even really? Is it really going to push the Wii U? Not to mention the Wii U did all sorts of really bad things in the first place. We likened it to the Virtual Boy because that's pretty much 20 years ago.
Same concept. Yep.
Yeah, same exact concept. A portable console that wasn't really portable, didn't provide third-party companies with the ability to make games for it very well. When it launched, all the launch titles were things that have already long been out on a better system.
Yep.
Like everything for the Wii U, I think they had I want to say 20-some titles altogether that were launch titles, and about 15 of them were not original titles. They were all ports from other systems.
Yep. And the ones that were original didn't draw enough of an interest for people to actually buy the game.
No, they really weren't.
At least when the Wii was released, it had, the Wii Sports Package. It had, Zelda, Twilight Princess. Everyone, the most anticipated, gaming event of the year. The most anticipated gaming moment was swinging the sword to swing Link's sword. That was it for that year. That was the most anticipated gaming moment. So people bought Wiis just to swing that fucking sword.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like the gimmicks and everything else like that, which Nintendo tries to do. We've had an entire episode about the things that Nintendo tried to innovate on. Some of them doing really well, some of them flopping really bad.
Yeah.
The reason I wanted to make we wanted to make that comparison for the Wii U and its predecessor, which is the closest combination to it, which is the Virtual Boy. If you guys remember that from 1996, I want to say 1995.
Somewhere around
It was
there.
96, actually. I remember because 96, I was 11 years old at the time, grabbing a Virtual Boy. For one, it inhaled AA batteries like a motherfucker.
As did everything in the early 90s.
Yeah, that's true. Game Gear did that, but it had a nice color screen. You could play it in the dark and everything else. Wii U gave you headaches and everything else like that. Or it's not Wii U, sorry. Virtual Boy gave you headaches like crazy.
That's how similar they are.
Yeah, because they have this the one color red. Your eyes are completely covered by it, and they didn't have first off, it had those. You had to constantly every couple of hours you had to just go and put it. You had to exchange the batteries again. Are you really going to get some gaming out of that? But not to mention the fact that It did that. It wasn't actually portable because it had those like weird leg things that you had to sit it on, like the tripod thingy that it was sitting on.
Yeah.
It was one fucking color, and it really didn't do 3D. It didn't actually accomplish the virtual part of Virtual Boy.
Well, it made you feel like it was virtual.
I mean, they had a 3D gimmick every now and again, like Mario Tennis and the tennis ball coming at you, or like the Star Fox having like Euphoria, but they were already doing those gimmicks on the Super Nintendo.
Well, yeah, but this was a little bit more in your face, so to speak.
Yeah, because your head was completely surrounded by the thing. But like they did it all in red with like little just polygon lines and everything, not actual shades and everything else, which they did strictly to save money. Just making it all one color was cheaper, so they just did it that way. And it turns out that the Virtual Boy actually was pretty much a prototype when it hit store shelves. It wasn't supposed to be like that. They wanted to take their Nintendo wanted to use their resources to work on something called Project Reality, which later became the N64, which really good move because everyone loved the hell out of that.
And it released some of the best titles of all time.
Yeah, but the thing is like they did the right move there, consolidating their resources to that. But that also meant that Nintendo was perfectly comfortable letting their customers buy a half-finished product that was also overly expensive at the time. Because the Virtual Boy was $180 in '96. That's not like that was on a Game Boy was $50.
Yeah,
like the original PlayStation, which came out around that time, was $200. Yet the Virtual Boy was $180. Like that's not good. That's the Sega Saturn, I think, was like $150 or something like that.
$145, I think.
Yeah,
$145.99.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing is like then you had the game selection for it. There weren't any. There were 22 games in the entire lifespan of the Virtual Boy. There were 22 games, and that's only in Japan. There were 14 in the US, and only 4 of them were launch titles. And like that's pretty much what the Wii U is doing now. Like the launch titles were like there was Teleraboxer, there was Waterworld 3D, there was some other game there, and then there was Mario Tennis, and then there was a 4th one that I can't quite remember the name of. But like really, that's what you had to offer?
Honestly, out of all the Mario games, I think the soccer one was my favorite.
I like Mario Golf a little bit.
Mario Golf was fun.
Mario Golf ported really well. Mario Golf was fun on the 64. It was fun on the Game Boy Color. It was fun back in the old day when they did it on Nintendo, and when it was technically just golf, but it had Mario in it.
Yeah,
like all of the golfing ones like that, they were pretty fun for golfing games, to be honest. And then they had like because they also included putt, and that was always kind of fun. Like, it's just like all right, it's something little, simple, cheap. Easy to do. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. Doesn't take a whole lot of effort. Everyone knows how to play putt-putt.
And it's family friendly.
Yeah, it was family friendly.
That was my favorite thing because my family would actually sit down. We'd play Mario Party, Mario Golf, etc. So,
right.
Of course, they hated me for that because I was really good at it.
Yeah. So you had those games, Mario Tennis, which they had pretty much. I think that was the first Mario Tennis. Now that I think about it, so take props to them for actually doing it. There wasn't. Did they have one for Super Nintendo?
64.
No, 64 came after Virtual Boy.
Oh yeah. You're still talking about. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, Virtual Boy.
I thought you were talking about the Wii U. I'm like,
no. Virtual Boy had the first Mario Tennis.
Okay.
That like was like their main thing. That was like the only thing that actually people bought in the first place.
Well, yeah, that was because it was a ball coming towards your face, and everyone loves balls in your face.
Yeah, red balls in your face.
I'm partial to blue balls in my face.
Well, they did that, and like I said, out of 14 games for the whole thing, like the biggest problem is that like Nintendo went out of the way to make it difficult for companies to program games for the Virtual Boy, because like no one knew how to do it. Like they actually said in a magazine. Like the Nintendo Power, whatever else. I think it was Nintendo Power in 1995. So yes, Nintendo Power. A year before the Virtual Boy was released, an actual spokesman for Nintendo said that they were deliberately not showing the system and the programming and the code to developers because they wanted to control the fluctuation of games. They wanted to approve it, and the whole Nintendo seal of approval, everything they had.
Nintendo made a mistake.
Yeah, they did all of that. And then, like they didn't because they didn't want a glut of shitty games coming to their new consoles. Like, but you approved Waterworld, like
they didn't approve it; they made it.
Yeah, No, I thought it was Ocean something, Oceanic or something, with some sort
I
of
thought that was
third-party company.
I thought it was part of their company. Like,
I thought they made it, but then Nintendo just gave it the seal of approval and shit like that.
I thought it was a subsect of Nintendo, like one of their side projects.
It probably was, considering if it was a launch title and everything else. But you have that, the fact that it gave you headaches, the horrible battery life, the no games for it, no quality for it. They didn't actually do the 3D thing, and then they cut costs so that they could work on the N64. So luckily, I guess that's an apology. It's a pretty good apology.
Yeah, I was just really sad because
N64.
I didn't get the N64 until like a year or two after it came out, and I was really disappointed because to this day I still pull that thing out and play with it.
Yeah, you miss a year of the curve, but then again, by the time you got it, there were plenty of games to use.
Oh, there were shit tons of games, and people were giving me hand-me-down stuff like, "Oh, I beat this. Here you go."
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it was okay.
Back in the good old cartridge days.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, the worst you have to do is blowing on this freaking cartridge to make it work again. But you can't scratch. You didn't scratch the outside of the cartridge. Doesn't ruin your game and make it unable to play.
One person I know actually had an issue with their N64 where it overheated and melted one of the cartridges.
Oh Jesus! Well, stop playing it for so damn long.
But
Don't leave it on overnight.
that was one time, and the dude played like a 40-hour marathon.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
I couldn't sit still for more than like 5 or 6 hours.
I had a little cousin dropping pennies into the vent slots.
Oh,
and it still
didn't
worked.
Yeah.
It still worked fine. It would jingle every time I moved it, but it still worked fine. I was always worried. I'm like, that penny's going to hit something. It's going to hit some piece of circuitry, and the whole thing's going to short out. But it never happened. I think it was a trooper.
Dude, back in the day, those consoles were made like tanks.
They really were.
I could literally throw my original Xbox out the fucking window, through someone's car window, plug it in, and it would work.
Yeah, they've actually done tests on that. Actually, the Jones family did this. So we actually dropped it 3 stories out a window. It still powered on.
Probably still worked fine.
Yeah.
One of my friends.
I think the controller ports were fucked. But
one of my friends actually, he got his GameCube because his mom got mad at him for not doing his homework, so she threw it out the window of their 5th floor apartment, and it landed on the concrete in the parking lot. Went down, picked it up. The handle was broken off. The cover for the disc tray was broken off, but the thing still worked. All you had to do was put the safety pin or something in the little clip so that it thought that the door was closed, and yeah. But yeah, they made systems like tanks back then, and I wish they'd do it again.
Yep, but unfortunately,
I'm scared if I drop my, 360 or something, it'll
right.
shatter.
You can't even move it a little bit. Like, I've had things get ruined just because, like, when you have it sitting upright, it's supposed to be able to stand so that it saves space. But if you don't actually need it to, and like somebody knocks the table and it leans over a little bit, scratches the crap out of your disc, that's ruined.
If you lay it down on its side, which is supposed to be the safer way to do it, but they left it so that you could put it upright in case it, want it. If you lay it down, it actually covers up half the exhaust ports, and that's what causes it to overheat a lot of times.
Yeah.
Then you get your red ring.
So, like, hey, let's put it, like, you got to get one of the little fan things for one that you use for laptops, or you have to put, like, it on a couple of blocks to give it enough room underneath to vent out. It's like all this extra work, really? Like, I could have put my N64 in a box and still played it.
Yeah.
Like,
as a matter of fact, my van had an original Nintendo in it, like in a box, and we could literally close the damn door on the thing.
I remember hanging out with somebody who had a Ford Focus, like back when everyone was into like modding their Ford Focuses of Need for Speed and all that Fast and the Furious shit. Back in like the early 2000s, they actually did have they ended up installing an original Xbox in there, so they had that going at all times. Like, we just wired the controllers to the back seats and into the front passenger seat.
Back seat of my van had a TV and an original Nintendo, and we actually sat there and we'd play them on like road trips and shit.
Don't hit a pothole. Restarting.
Never had any problems whatsoever.
Did the van have shag carpet?
No, but it did have curtains and a queen size bed.
Was it a water bed?
No.
Oh, you sucked at it.
It folded up into a back seat.
The Nintendo was the 80s, not the 70s, not the 60s.
Yeah. Besides, it ended up becoming my van, and I don't like shag. It gets in my butt crack and the sweat, and
that's what you got the water bed for.
But see, something just kind of works about rug burn.
I wouldn't know that. I'm divorced, so I don't know.
See, problem solved.
Time to get some more rug burn.
I'm a 24-year-old. I mean, I think I'm 24 at least.
You think?
The
jury's still out.
I forgot how old I am.
That's sad.
Well, that just tells you how good my party life is.
And how adapt his ADD is.
Yeah, that too. Anyways, so
Which also comes about from our video games.
actually, that's not it. They blame ADD on fluorescent lighting and shit in
And
schools.
Sesame Street. They blamed a lot on Sesame
They
Street.
did try to blame a lot on Sesame Street, but Sesame Street's been around longer than ADD has.
Yeah, they're like, just the little 30-second snippets of little information and go on to the next topic, go on to the next topic. That gave us ADD. I was like, well, yeah, okay, fine. WarioWare, maybe. Fine. The little mini games and things like that might give you some ADD. But yeah, normally, like, you play video games, but that's like the one time you actually focus on something if you have ADD.
Well, it's fluorescent lighting. It actually causes chemical imbalance in the brain without having recess in the day. You don't get any sunlight, so your brain doesn't function properly as a child as it's developing. So you actually develop attention problems because of that.
Yeah, well.
That was the medical scientific explanation for that. I left out the names of the chemicals because I can't remember them for shit. Because I spent a lot of time in fluorescent lighting in school.
See, we're learning a lot. We're learning a lot today here on Unlocked Radio.
A lot of things to learn.
Yep, we learned about how Nintendo making mistakes. Now we need to segue over to the Wii U that we were talking about in the first place because we did derail a little bit.
That was your fault.
Yeah, well, that's because of the Virtual Boy, and let me explain why. Because, all right, so we talked about what with the Virtual Boy. We talked about the batteries and the horrible battery life.
Yep.
We talked about the fact that it was expensive technology, expensive Rust technology on top of that. And they cut costs and everything. There was no games for it, no quality games, not a good number of it. All of those things. The Wii U, guess what? Guess what it did? 3.5 hour battery life. Which nowadays, like, we have fancy little chargers for everything. You know, you plug your controllers in, charge everything, little USBs, whatever. You charge your phones and everything else like that. But for a portable console, like especially compared to the 3DS, a 3.5 hour battery life is just not good enough for that big, like, and it's all to power that big freaking screen and everything else. Next, you have the fact that once again, like they did with the Virtual Boy, they cut costs, and they in order to keep up with the console wars and everything from these last couple of years, they wanted to stay ahead of the curve. So they put out. And they put the system out early, and they sacrificed once again. They sacrificed graphics. In this case, competitive HD graphics, so that they could pretty much bundle an iPad as a controller.
Yeah, and a lot of people like that because it's like, hey, I can buy a game system and not have to have an iPad too. However,
yeah, when it comes to gaming, people like graphics in their gaming. They want to. You have to have it like all right. Why am I'm playing this? And if it looks childish compared to everything else, if the graphics don't look good as everything else, granted, like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe we were pissed. Like actual gamers were pissed when people were just like, "Oh, it doesn't have good graphics." Like, well, it's not about the graphics; it's about the gameplay. Well, now it's 2014. It's time to worry about both.
yeah, if you can't peg both into the same thing, you're kind of losing a lot of the market.
Right.
There are still people that care solely about graphics, and with things like the Xbox One and PS4 on the market, you're fucked.
Yeah. That kind of ruins things, but at the same time, like, Nintendo does try to focus more on gameplay. Now, you sacrifice a little bit of graphics, and that could be fine if you're looking at games like Nintendo staples like Mario and things. But when you launch your console with a dozen or so ports from other systems that had better, that their games performed better on that console, they looked better on that console, you're literally challenging your customers to give less of a shit. You actually are challenging their stupidity pretty much to buy this. Like, hey, let's see if you'll accept lower standards here.
Hey, you know that last gen system that you got from 10 years ago? We're gonna go ahead and remake a game for that with shittier graphics than that.
Yeah, shittier graphics than 10
on a
years
smaller
ago.
screen.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you get all these, and they focus on these gimmicks. So it's like, okay, you get new Super Mario Brothers or whatever for the Wii U and everything. And if you have the Wii U and you have your controller, you have the Wii U controller, the portable controller, you can be everyone's favorite character from the series, the platform creator. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you have all right, third party companies they want to make money. Let's be honest. Now, you can put out these other games and everything, but porting a game over to another console, really easy. Change some code. That's all you got to do. It's very minimal on a budget, and then they can make more money on another console.
Yep.
But introduce something like that third screen and everything. Now you have to create new, you have to do new creative, innovative. You have to make a way for it to use that screen. Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty weren't made to use that screen. You have to shoehorn a way to use that in there just for the sake of, it's innovation for innovation's sake.
Yeah.
Not necessarily something that like, hey, we had a really good idea, let's put this into practice. But no, you're not making it easy for the third-party developers once again, just like you did with the Virtual Boy that flopped like a motherfucker. And then you have the games that, even the games that are original, is like back then they were just doing like 3D for 3D's sake, and now you have innovation for innovation's sake, but that makes things more difficult, and third parties are going to pull out because they don't want to waste that money. The more like creative risk and budget spent, they're usually inversely proportioned. You don't want to have that. You're going to shy people away from that.
Yep. Unfortunately, we're out of time for the first half, so stay tuned. We'll be back in about 9 minutes.
We will be. I'm back on Launch Radio to talk about more crazy other things, and they're actually going to be talking about some of those favorite series that we were
Shag
watching that you
carpeting?
guys should be checking out. Not shag carpeting.
Come on.
No shag carpet for you.
All right. We'll see about shag carpeting when we come back here on Unlocked Radio.
I knew something was wrong when a little pretty white girl ran into a black man's arms.
You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network. You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network. User friendly and ready to serve. morningshowcentral.com.
This is President Barack Obama, and you're listening to MSC Radio Network.
Oh, wow. Language.
Okay, he was PMSing.
You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network. Oh, great. Not another Farmville request. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Morning Show Central. Denying one Farmville request at a time. Call the show toll free. 1-888-668-0742. You're listening to Morning Show Central Radio Network on morningshowcentral.com. If you have a product or service, let people know about it. Get your message out there and advertise on MSC Radio Network. It's easier than you think, and the whole planet is listening. Find out how you can advertise. Email Chris at morningshowcentral.com. With hundreds of live weather products and layers and thousands of combinations, Weather Studio provides a professional graphics and storm monitoring solution without complex user knowledge and without the industry standard price tag of $1,000 plus broadcast systems. Weather Studio displays a plethora of critical atmospheric and geophysical data on an interactive GIS-enabled computer map. Get your free 14-day trial of Weather Studio at their website, weatherstudio.paulmarv.com. That's weatherstudio.paulmarv.com. If you're looking for the best in musical equipment, recording gear, sound reinforcement, and more, Guitar Center has you covered. Guitar Center, located at 26635 Brook Park Road in North Olmsted, has the tools of your trade with the largest selection of music and sound gear in the area. They cater to your musical needs and have the knowledge to help you out. Guitar Center in North Olmsted. MorningshowCentral.com uses them. You should too. Need to know more? Go to GuitarCenter.com. Lakewood Computer, located at 14035 Madison Avenue in Lakewood, has it all. If you're in need of computer repairs or want to cut the cost of ink cartridges and printing supplies, count on Lakewood Computer in Lakewood, Ohio to provide it all. For the past 5 years, Lakewood Computer has been providing you with a huge assortment of computer equipment and services at very competitive prices. Lakewood Computer purchases and sells pre-owned desktops, laptops, and related equipment, and they offer outstanding prices on aftermarket printing supplies, including toner cartridges and ink cartridges. With 29 years of professional experience, Lakewood Computer is highly confident in their ability to enhance your overall computing experience. Check them out online at joeslakewoodcomputer.com. That's joeslakewoodcomputer.com. Or give them a call toll-free, 855-5 855-580-0768. That's 855-580-0768.
Yo, it's Woody. Now, I know a thing or two about women, and I want to help all the ladies out there take care of their men. Happy Endings Orgasmically Organic Massage Oil. Yeah, I said orgasmically organic, made right here in Cleveland. Now, no other product delivers this level of purity and performance. It's guaranteed to improve your overall experience and keeps that sensitive skin soft and smooth. Guys, don't be a tool. You're doing it anyway. Might as well do it right. Get your happy ending at happyendingsoil.com. That's happyendingsoil.com.
Looking for reliable and affordable Shoutcast audio or video hosting? JWN Media offers complete Shoutcast hosting solutions for business or personal use. All plans come with full listener stats, custom web scripts for implementing your service into your existing website, full server control, super fast network, and huge bandwidth limits. A 99.5% uptime guarantee and friendly, knowledgeable support personnel dedicated to making your hosting experience fun and easy. With plans starting at only $3 a month, you have no excuse not to get a server of your own. Plus, with the option to add auto DJ and on-demand services, you can be confident your station will be all it can be. Custom plans are also available at their website. Simply visit jwnmedia.com and click the Shoutcast hosting link to get started right now. Lakewood Computer, located at 14035 Madison Avenue in Lakewood, has it all. If you're in need of computer repairs or want to cut the cost of ink cartridges and printing supplies, count on Lakewood Computer in Lakewood, Ohio to provide it all. For the past 5 years, Lakewood Computer has been providing you with a huge assortment of computer equipment and services at very competitive prices. Lakewood Computer purchases and sells pre-owned desktops, laptops, and related equipment, and they offer outstanding prices on aftermarket printing supplies, including toner cartridges and ink cartridges. With 29 years of professional experience, Lakewood Computer is highly confident in their ability to enhance your overall computing experience. Check them out online at joeslakewoodcomputer.com. That's joeslakewoodcomputer.com. Or give them a call toll-free, 855-580-0768. That's 855-580-0768.
MSC Radio Network has just tweeted the following. This bowel movement won't come out.
Check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/MSC Radio Network.
Welcome back. Sorry, guys. Lied about the break. It was only like 5 minutes-ish. Anyways, I'm pretty sure I heard a poop joke somewhere in that advertisement at the end there. So, congratulations for that.
Shitting all over your hopes and dreams here on Unlocked Radio.
Just like Cleveland weather.
Yes, there's 100% of weather change today.
Yep. So, yeah.
So the shag carpet now? What now?
No, for the shag carpet. It's not happening.
Get shag carpet in the new studio. Come on.
Right.
I will.
All right.
Yeah, if we can get like a little shag carpet thing here, just like right here on the top of our little station here.
I did have a little weird carpet.
If it's green, it'll help. It'll look like video
With
game
dingle
grass.
balls.
Dingle balls.
Okay.
You never heard of that before?
I've heard of it. I just don't really.
Those little things that hang from the shag carpeting.
Yeah, I know.
Those are dingle balls.
And if they hang from your ass hair, it's called dingleberries.
Dingleberries.
Yes. Anyways.
All right.
Enough poop jokes and shag carpeting, Chris.
All right. Let's get back to the decade at hand.
Let's go back to the century at hand.
Yeah, let's go back to talking about gaming and all the things good and wrong with it. Now, we obviously we were trying to reminisce about Nintendo in the good old days and the bad old days, but you know,
history repeats itself. Just throwing it out there.
History repeats itself. Especially if you don't fucking remember it. They literally took you. If you go on like Nintendo's website, you look at all their old consoles and everything else like that. They actually removed Virtual Boy entirely. So they removed it. You look at the consoles. They'll have a picture of it. And the pictures of all the consoles, and then you go to link it. It links to nothing. And then you look at the list, and they're like. What? We cannot find the console you're speaking of. Sorry, they renamed it to the Wii U. But
we actually just we omitted that from history because it was that bad.
Yeah. Well, history goes to the victors. But
however, you also have to think that most people that worked for Nintendo probably weren't alive when that was released.
Some of them, I don't know. You never know. But okay. enough of bashing of that shit aside. Like, they made a mistake there, a pretty damn big one. But at the same time, they do innovation properly, because the one other really big thing about gaming right now is a lot of like GameStop blames all the console sales and everything and the decline of that on lack of innovation. Valve was complaining about that. You'll just have all over the internet is all sorts of things complaining about the lack of innovation in games.
Yeah,
but the thing is like, and everyone's like, oh, gaming sucks because they're just doing like all these stupid things and cardboard cutouts and everything else like that. But it turns out that that's really not the root of the problem.
One of my initial issues with the DS, because I bought the DS Lite and I got the Tron Evolution game for it. One of the things I hated about that was the fact that it forced you to use the bottom screen for fucking everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I like this. I wanted to play my game. I like the fact that there is a second screen and that you have the option to use it for certain things. However, I don't like the fact that I have to move around with the with the D-pad and then use the stylus to do things and then push buttons all at the same time to do combos and shit. It's like I don't have 3 fucking hands.
Right.
I think you guys tried a little too hard to use something that you added in as a feature to a new system. And eventually they found ways to make it work. For example, Monster Hunter, where you could have your menu open at the bottom or have a map on the bottom so you can use that and then use the top screen for your actual gameplay.
Yeah. See, this is my point is that people they'll constantly complain about wanting something new, something innovative, something different. But that's a fucking lie, because when we get our hands on something like that, we're just like, what the hell is this? Why am I doing it? This is way too much like work.
And almost a decade later, we'll find a use for it and we'll actually enjoy it. And then something else comes out that we're all like, what the fuck is this?
Right. You have those.
We want the latest and greatest, but we have no idea how to use it.
Yeah. It turns out that we as gamers, while not realizing it, we're kind of liars about that sort of thing. We have absolutely no idea what we want. We're going to complain about innovation and everything else like that, but we're going to buy the same stuff, because let's say every time they make a new Ninja Turtles game or a new Mario game or something like that, if it's something different than what we grew up with, we get pissed.
Yep.
Now you have like people want to say you have the Call of Duty was pretty much just like the antichrist of video games, and every hardcore gamer complains about. It's their fault
over and over.
Right, and it's their fault that we have all these FPS shooters, cardboard cutouts of everything else. It's like, yeah, you're tired of seeing that, aren't you? Like game after game, release after year after year, but the sales are still going up.
And if we don't, if you change it, we'll get pissed about that too.
Right. It's like, okay, maybe that's just Call of Duty, but what about Battlefield? The Battlefield games, again, steady incline.
Well, they complain when you do an upgrade too. I mean, there's a little minor change in the game, they'll bitch and people will yell and complain about, oh my god, no, I can't glitch no more. I can't do this or I can't do that. I'm like, oh.
And you have people bitching about the glitches. You can't make everybody happy. You can't make anybody happy.
Right. They just like to bitch.
We all like to bitch. It's human nature. We complain.
Yeah, because we're greedy little assholes.
Nothing's perfect. Let's change everything.
All right.
And nothing all at once.
Now, yeah, so you have that, okay, you can say that with a Call of Duty, with Battlefield, okay, those are shooters. What about something that's not a shooter? Assassin's Creed, okay? A whole new different type of game that they came out when they first did it, but no, once again, 8 million, 9 million, and 12 million copies sold in the first year for the first 3 games. So once again, pretty steady incline. Yep. Then you can go into Madden. Now, that's something we really don't talk about a whole lot, but...
we leave that to High on Sports.
Yeah, we leave it to High on Sports. But for those of you gamers who haven't stuck around for High on Sports, don't know anything about Madden is it's a game that simulates something that we call football. That basically
football.
It's every single thing that we. For those of you you guys already know Madden, you've seen the midnight releases. Like they couple a Madden release right next to the release of something else, so that you can kind of shoehorn people in over there and I think they actually just want to see the shit talking of real gamers and not real gamers outside of a GameStop.
Yeah, the last time a Madden was released, I can't remember what game I was in line for, but I was in line. I want to say it was. I know there was a sports game being released. I think it might have been Madden the same night as Saints Row 4. Yeah. So you had a group of people lined up for that, and a group of people lined up on the other side. And it's like they're both going in opposite directions, and it was the employees were laughing and trying to figure out which line went where.
Yeah.
They're like, all right, who's got the longer line?
But like Madden can be classified as one of our biggest gripes when it comes to games being released every year, which is it's pretty much little more. We've already said it's little more than a glorified expansion pack every year, just pretty much updating the graphics, updating the team roster, and adding like one new gameplay element each time. But once again, sales steadily going up.
I feel like Pokemon was the same way until the new one, which was fucking blow you out of the water different.
Right. But those things constantly, like, they go, the sales are going up. Now, so maybe, like, the only thing that gamers will constantly do this as well, where they just classify all those games into bro games. Like, they're little, like, all right, you have, like, the little college kids, the frat boys, whatever else, and then they're flat bill hats, chains, acting ghetto, whatever else, and they're the ones that are playing innings of Madden. Is it innings? No. Frames of Madden? No, that's both.
Periods.
Touchdowns of Madden. All right. They're just pretty much that, like beer pong, everything else like that. Those same kind of bro gamers all doing that. It's like, all right, those aren't the real gamers, not like the real gamers who grew up on.
Yeah, real gamers play Flip Cup. Come on.
Yeah, the real gamers who grew up on on The Legend of Zelda and on like Mario and the original Mario, and then like grew to like praise like all sorts of really new and innovative games, like the people that liked Wind Waker, people that liked
Bravely
Beyond,
Default,
Beyond Good and Evil, Shadow of the Colossus, Okami, creating like some of our more artistic games. And like the bro gamers was like, Oka what?
Yeah.
Everybody like Shadow of the what?
Bravely Default, that sounds stupid.
Right. That sort of thing. It's like, all right, well, so obviously there should be a difference in the buying habits of the bro gamers and the hardcore gamers, but there isn't. Like, the one thing you can do, like, let's go with the staple of gaming, pretty much Mario. If you look at all the Mario sales, you first off you have to take off the Wii U and the DS games, since those are still new and the numbers are still rolling in. But if you take, aside from those systems, all the Mario games, and look at like the highest selling ones and the lowest selling ones. The highest selling ones are Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers Wii, New Super Mario Brothers, New Super Mario Brothers Wii, and like they're all. If you look at all the ones that are the top 10 ones, they're all like Super Mario Brothers 3 is another really, really big one for the original Nintendo. What do all those have in common? They're all simple Mario platformers. A game type that hasn't really changed that much since the very first one. And they sell wonderfully. Now, if you look at the ones on the bottom of the list, that is Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy 2, and then like Luigi's Mansion, things like that. Those are, and like, what do those games have in common? They're all very different. They were praised for being innovative, for being new, for changing the way that we looked at the game.
And don't get me wrong, they were good games. They just weren't what we wanted.
Yeah, they all got amazing scores on like Metacritic, on game.
Well, they were really good games, and I really enjoyed playing them. However, the replay value on them, it sucks because platforms. The whole purpose of it was to go through the platforms.
Yeah,
it's challenging every time, and until you can perfect it and beat your own scores every time.
It was something simple.
It's something simple. It's something that you can get used to. It's something that feels comfortable. It's home.
Yeah. But you also let's look at just as far as a console is concerned. The GameCube, probably one of the best consoles in our history of gaming for innovation.
Yep.
They had like, what did you have on the? You had Wind Waker. You had Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. You had Super Mario Sunshine was on that.
Yep.
Resident Evil 4. All games that like they broke the boundaries of what their respective franchises were thought to be capable of. Then you like that's not even including the new IPs on the system. Beyond Good and Evil. Like there was what was the other one? Eternal Darkness was one.
Yep.
Like there's, I'm trying to think of a couple other ones that were in there. Like there was a lot of the like GameCube games that were original games. Brand new ideas, and they all got rave reviews and everything, but they didn't sell. And what did sell on the console, like the two games that sold the absolute most on the GameCube, Smash Brothers Melee and Mario Kart Double Dash or whatever that was.
Yep.
Yeah, Mario Kart and Melee. Nothing even came close.
Two barely renovated re-releases.
Yeah, it's like not only did nothing come like even remotely, like you could bundle any 10 other games and it wouldn't compete. The combined sales wouldn't compete with either one of those. So like you look at that, and like the GameCube ended up going down and being like one of the worst selling consoles. But
it was also one of the cheapest when it was released.
It was one of the best ones for innovation. It had some of the best original games on it, best new ideas. The other thing, Wind Waker, a game that was praised all over the place, multiple awards for like how innovative and how good it was, sold. I want to say it sold 8 or 9 million copies altogether.
Yep.
And Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time sold 7.3 million copies. Whereas the 8th installment of Mario Party sold freaking like 9 million.
Yep.
Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, 7.3 million. Mario Party 8, 9 million. Like, really? I guess they just didn't have a water temple mini game, or like, what are you gonna do? Like, then you have like it's just like those games, the new and innovative games that are really awesome, and you talk about how good they are. You talk about it, but you don't see people playing them. You don't see people buying them. Like No More Heroes sold like I think 500,000 copies. Like there's like all these different games.
Well, a lot of parents have to go with name recognition because they don't know what games come out and what's good and what's new. So
right.
they go with what they recognize the name of. So now you're buying franchise. If you've been playing games, obviously, if you found a franchise you like, you're going to play it. If one of your friend's parents bought a game because for their kid, and your friend invites you over to play it, you like it, you go out and buy that. Guess what? Now we have 3 different aspects of gaming that encourage franchise, purchase.
Yeah. It does, and again, you don't want something that breaks free from that franchise. Like the actual gamers, even that, like, no, you don't. You get the game, and you're like, I'm going to play this real quick, and then I'm going to trade it in. Whereas you keep the platform ones, they sell off the shelves. It's like the game. What about like the games that they say, like all these new dumbed down games that people are like, they're selling out. Like, well, yeah, they are selling out on store shelves.
Yeah,
like they're selling like crazy. Like Resident Evil, a game that has been getting a lot of flack recently for how it changed its survival horror aspect and pretty much turned it into a glorified action game. Sales are sticking pretty steady with that.
Well, as we've grown, we've developed a little bit, and we've decided that we don't want the horror aspect anymore. We still like the monsters, we still like that, but we want the action because the whole reason we're playing the game is to
feel like a badass.
We want to feel like a badass. We want to feel stronger. We want to feel faster. We want to feel smarter. We want to feel like we're actually doing something.
Yeah.
We don't want to walk around and be like, oh, that scared me.
Yeah, well, I mean, you want to be able to survive that horror. That's was kind of part of that, but it requires being smart. Whereas action game, you can do it over and over again, so you figure out the right way, I guess. But and with a horror game, if you try it over and over again, you die. Now that part's not scaring you because that initial fear, like you see it coming. That's
and that kind of ruins the game because now it's like,
right.
I'm not afraid of that anymore.
Another one, Final Fantasy 13, a game like considered like the weakest in the franchise for like removing player choice, is the 4th best selling Final Fantasy game. It beating out the combined sales of Final Fantasy 3 and Final Fantasy 6. That's a joke, by the way, guys, because they're basically the same game. But still, like they just like the games that are new and innovative and are like changing the way that we play the games are not selling well. While the cardboard cutouts, like, why spend all this money making something new when you can just take the same steering wheel cover and just put new paint job on it, and like it's.
Well, who wants to learn new controls? Who wants to learn a new gameplay format? For example, the reason Fracture didn't do so well, I'm damn sure, has to be with the fact that it was innovative. It was a great game, phenomenal gameplay. The guns choices varied. Like, you literally sacrificed power for range or power
you
for
had to be smart.
Speed, and you had to actually figure out what is the most effective in this part. So certain weapons were completely useless in certain parts.
Right. It wasn't straightforward.
Whereas like Halo, I can use a fucking plasma pistol throughout the entire fucking game and do fine.
Right. If you're accurate enough, fast enough, you got it.
I can use a needler the entire fucking game. You can't do that with Fracture. You have to switch guns. Also, with being able to manipulate the terrain, you're basically making everything into your own puzzle.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. That's why that's one of the reasons why I still like Nintendo so much, because okay, we bash them on everything with like the Wii U and the Virtual Boy, all that shit. It's dumb ideas that they do, the GameCube falling through, but they're smart. They are willing to push the limits for innovation to try new things, and they know how to put their resources properly. Yes, Virtual Boy flopped, but they used that money that they shoehorned in to make the 64. Yep. For every Virtual Boy, there's an N64 to take its place. For every Wii U flop, there is a DS or another good portable console to deflect the losses. They're able to like constantly they make sure that their money and their ends justify the means.
Well, actually,
they always have more than one thing coming
Their
out.
portables are separate from their consoles, and I'm going to go ahead and start with that because with the Virtual Boy, they turned it into the 64. However, the Game Boy Color was still doing well.
Right, but they always have something. Nintendo always has something making money.
Well, apparently
while
we got
they work on innovation.
Got to cut this short. So we got to go. Don't forget to stay tuned for High on Sports and everything in between. Following us. We'll see you next Monday.
Yep. Thanks for watching on Mike Radio.